Hi folks, you know me, I know you. This is J for Jet, USA, and not really sure who this is. This guy's name is Noob, playing as the OK, no, it's the OKW, as the Auster. So good, we got a little change of pace from the last match, which was Soviets versus OKW. So we have a Tellermine and Minefield bulletin, an MG42 bulletin, and a Faust bulletin. And then we have a grenade bulletin, a rifleman bulletin, and a rifleman bulletin. And what do we got? Infantry Company, Heavy Cav, Recon Support. Ooh, interesting. So somebody, Romeo was Romeo was speaking straight to me, was watching J for Jet play while being casted on Romeo's Twitch, and he was telling everybody how to know which doctrine J for Jet goes, depending on what your opponent picks, but I can't remember what it was. So anyways, we have a machine gun out first. Not a huge surprise on this map. MG is a good thing for when you think your opponent's going to get funneled into a location like the center or something, especially when there's like maybe some buildings you can occupy. But this MG, contrary to an earlier one that we saw set up here, is heading to the right, maybe the fuel. This is being simultaneously broadcast on Twitch chat. Hello to my Twitch viewers, and they're trash talking Dawn of War 3, which really deserves the trash talk. That game just died in the cradle. It died immediately when it came out. Too bad for it, but good for Company Heroes 2, because that was potentially competition, I guess. So we have this MG set up, and it gets a good burst off on these rear echelon. They're able to pull out. That's not the fog of war I wanted. Anyways, they must be able to pull out. This clearly can't see them because they're out of range. So J for Jet was able to continue capping that point, so that's good. Not a disaster. We do have the trademark J for Jet double rear echelon opening, which is very strange, but you can't argue with results. And J for Jet gets results. J for Jet wins games. Oh, here's a cheeky reposition. Not on the VP where you might have expected, but slightly forward, able to catch him with a burst, with a suppression, and now it's going to pack up a move again. So you can tell Noob is a good player, number one, because he got matched up against J for Jet, not a match. So I feel like Relic didn't screw up the ranking that much that they put a terrible person versus J for Jet. Although, to be fair, I once got matched up against Dr. Horse in a 2v2 with my friend Lollibo. You can go find that. Maybe it's not on the internet anymore, but we won, by the way. That's the most proud I've ever been. Dr. Horse, for those who don't know, and nobody knows who's listening to this, was the, I think, #1 ranked 1v1 player at the time. So I'll never let anybody forget that I beat him in a 2v2 in Company Heroes 1. Anyways, you can tell Noob is a good player because he's constantly repositioning this MG, packing it up at the drop of a hat, moving it to another place. You don't want to get too wedded to your MG positions. You don't want to be too worried about the vulnerabilities that are inherent in packing up a crew search weapon and then having to set it up again. You want to be nimble like the fox. You want to, if you can step lightly and trip the light fantastic, that is how you achieve victory. Rubber Luck in Twitch chat says there are 200 concurrent players for Dawn of War 3 right now, which is a travesty. They should have just made a good video game, then they wouldn't have had to worry about having so few players. Instead, they made a bad video game, and that's what happened. So we can't have a grenade in here, no rifle grenade, until Tier 1, or Battle Phase 1. I guess it's not really a tier. The battle phases are the things you get to get the tiers, or do you think the tiers are the battle phases, and then the buildings are the things you can build once you've made it to the tiers? I don't know. In any case, of course, the Wehrmacht, the Ostterror, does not have the grenades until they get that, so the United States player could safely hop into that building, but safe is relative, because the machine gun was there firing at them and the grenadiers were there, so that's way too much damage to take. We have a mortar out by the Germans. What's going on over here? This fight's still going on. How is these rear echelon hanging out? The answer is long range plus green cover. Anybody can survive against basically anything if they're long range and green cover, and the German player is content to let that happen because the mortar is here, so the hope is now that a shell will take out the rear echelon. But because the first shell doesn't hit, and because J for Jet's a good player, he'll immediately reposition. And that's how the cookie crumbles. I feel like I'm using that phrase a lot. I gotta get something new. That's how the pancake solidifies. Because the pancake goes from liquid to solid when you're cooking it. You pour the batter, and it turns into a cake in a pan. Really, you don't cook pancakes in pans, and they're really not cakes. A lot of people put a lot of sugar in pancakes. I put sugar in pancakes. I don't put a lot of sugar in pancakes, but I put sugar in. That's the recipe. You gotta... Otherwise, they're not sweet. Anyways, we have a quick M20, which is a great strategy. I can always recommend it. That's what I always do when I'm playing the United States. So if you're playing me, just assume I'm not going it because I'm trying out a new strategy, and then I'll surprise you with my M20. I'll be like, whoop, whoop, where'd that come from? And it's like, oh, all along, that was the plan. But the Germans are dead. The Grenadiers are dead, and so we have a quick early lead taken by the United States player in terms of unit kills. Not in terms of anything else. The map control is sort of 50-50. United States player on the top right now, as you might expect when the German goes for the mortar, but potentially things will swing in the other way when this M20 gets countered by something. The scout car that's coming out, maybe? Scout car, not the hardest of M20 counters. The M20 crew can hop out and hose him down with a bazooka, but better than nothing. And this is a good chase from the M20. You'd like to see it keep going. Yup. Yow. That's good. That's real good. Actually, German can just immediately recruit it, can't they? Still, that's a lot of manpower. That's how the flapjack flaps, suggests Rubber Luck in Twitch chat. Not a bad suggestion. So that's an interesting Faust, by the way, on that M20. The armored car is out, and so it sort of makes sense. You want to hold the M20 there, get it out of the fight. You do also want to do enough damage to it that it's not going to feel safe just fucking all your infantry up, but this armored car is taking agonizingly long to get over here. The M20 may actually escape. We'll have to watch. Let's watch this with bated breath, guys. I'm really excited to see where this goes. This is one of the key engagements of this match so far. Is the scout car going to just push on forward, break on through to the other side? You try to run, you try to hide, and here we go. Jafer just hopped out. They have the bazooka ready, firing at the M20 rather. Oh, now firing at the... Oh, that's what happens when you get shot while you're repairing. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, no. Oh boy. Worst of both worlds. Everything's dying. But the German player pays for it with a squad almost. Wasn't able to micro the Grenadiers effectively. American, I'm sure, was not microing over here. Would have stopped repairing. Would have fired with the bazooka if he was microing. Clearly he was microing these infantry to try and kill this infantry, and he almost killed this infantry with these infantry, but these infantry didn't kill this. And now the mortar's trying to finish off the scout car, because why not? So that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. The German player's back in this. He's back in black. Like that AC/DC song, Highway to Hell. Rear echelon just being annoying motherfuckers. One of the reasons to get multiple rear echelon squads like J for Jet is that they really help you cap the map. Let's pause for a moment to watch this building collapse.
We're losing a capture point.
You can tell J for Jet is good because he gets out of the building before it collapses, and it's down. Down for the count. You are not long for this world, little building. Facing orders canceled. Oof, you don't see that every day.
Crowds are sniffing around our asses.
Rear echelon are better at capping, right? They cap faster. I'm not making that up. Even if they don't, they obviously, you can build them very quickly and send them all around the map and cap, but I'm pretty sure. Or maybe they cap slower. God, I feel like I have Alzheimer's. I think they cap faster. Suitor1 says low upkeep compared to riflemen. Yeah, so it helps you jumpstart your economy. For those who are not in the know for how the Company Heroes 2 economy works, the higher your pop cap, basically, the more upkeep cost you have, which means the lower your manpower income. If we look at the manpower income right now, the German player has more, and that's a function of having fewer units on the map. You look at 38 pop cap versus 44 is basically a good proxy for how much upkeep you're paying. So rear echelon, if you have a lot of those on the field early on rather than the riflemen, you'll be earning more manpower than you otherwise would. Of course, you're paying for it with stupid idiots in brown dresses who can't shoot for shit. So there's always a trade-off. When life gives you lemons, you take your newly orphaned bazooka squad and use them to cap a cutoff. That, at least, is J for Jet's philosophy, because no stone goes unturned with this guy. No M20 vehicle crew goes unused. They've been reinforced, and they've been moved to the front lines, and this rifleman squad is going down, down, down in the burning ring of fire. Oof. Really bad. The micro was somewhere else. Was it on the 50 cal? It's gotta have been on the 50 cal, and these guys. Maybe the bazooka people were trying to get into position to fight off the scout car, because that was a dead rifle squad, so that's really unfortunate. Twitch chat says rear echelons reinforce almost as much as rifles, though. So that's not it. It's not all roses and happy puppy cakes. Their initial cost is lower, but their reinforce is 25, which is effectively the same as a rifle squad. Only paras are more expensive at 28 a model. Suitor 1 says can't look away because of rifle nades. Well, you can hear the rifle nades. That's in principle that is your defense against rifle nades. You should get an alert in your ear when a rifle grenade is going to happen. You can hit the spacebar, jump to it, move your people. Doesn't always work. Also, it's tough to hear. Also, it's not as fast as keeping an eye out for rifle grenades. You can hear them, or you can see them moving, I think. Well, you can at least see them positioning for the rifle grenade. Typically, they'll have to move into position or something. You can sort of tell when a squad is doing some crazy shit, getting ready for a rifle grenade. But I think also the animation may start to play before they launch. I don't know. I'm actually starting to doubt that. I think the animation may play right as you get the audio update. But don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on anything. Quote me on some things. You can quote me on. I'll come up with some quotes. You can quote me on that's how the flapjack flaps. That's my new catchphrase. Hey, that's how the flapjack flaps, folks. Maybe that's how the flak cannon flaps. What do you guys think? Maybe that's how the flak cannon flapjacks. What's the teching look like? J4Jet has no fuel, so must have just bought something, and something indeed. Look at it. It's a Sherman. It's a real-ass Sherman, teched all the way up to a major, skipping the fucking captain, which nobody likes. He's an asshole at parties, so you just skip him, go straight to the major, who is a huge hit at parties. He always brings his two buddies, and they are a laugh riot, I tell you what. And busting out a Sherman, so that's pretty cool. The German player, what does the German have for the Sherman? Well, the German has the Panzer Grenadiers for the Sherman, and not tiny reserve of fuel. How high have we teched? We don't even have we don't even have Battle Phase 2 yet, so we of course do have Tier 2, that's where the Panzer Grenadiers came out, so we can build a pack. But this Sherman is now finished, and I'm guessing problems for the Germans. I'm guessing this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. Like that song by Michael Jackson. Thriller. MG42. Correct. Oof, not for long. Sherman's got HE rounds loaded? Yeah, it's got HE rounds loaded. J4Jet knows he's fighting infantry, and he's he's ready. He's ready, guys. Oof. Oof, I almost don't want to watch. I'm lying. I want nothing more than to watch. Yes. To see the enemy driven before you, to hear the lamentations of the German announcer, etc., etc. And now we have a doctrine chosen. So this is the oh shit button. Mobile defense doctrine to call in what? What's the plan? Are you buying a Puma? Is the Puma your response to the Sherman? Because that's I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it happen. A Puma can penetrate a Sherman, especially from behind. But it's not the we got an AT gun. Okay, good. It's the AT gun plus Puma is more of a Sherman deterrent. The AT gun gets the damage, and the Puma gets the chase. Did this load? No, it didn't load armor piercing, so it's just destroying the Puma. That's the thing. The Pumas doesn't have the armor to stand up to a Sherman, so you need something else supporting it. That was some good damage in on the Sherman, and also the engine's hurt, so we'll see if the German can chase it down. Can the German chase down the Sherman? I'm never going to be not excited that that rhymes. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? So it's the pack chasing. Oh, man. Whew, that was close. Both players almost lost a squad there. Oh, is this going to chase the lieutenant? That would be a nice kill. And the pack pulls off because the MG is there. Very interesting. Oh, and there's a bazooka here too, holding the scout car away from chasing the lieutenant. So that was very well thought out by J4Jet. The machine gun saving the Sherman, and the bazooka saving the lieutenant. Had the anti-infantry and the anti-vehicle lined up to cover all the bases. The fuck is this?
We're losing a capture point.
Major artillery. Took me a while. Took me a good long while. But I got it. I got it, guys. Mine like a steel trap. So now it's quiet. German player has no VPs. So he's getting to work on that. And J for Jet's still looking pretty good. Sherman repairing itself. Where are those vehicle crew? There's the vehicle crew. So Sherman repairing itself. And the German player, now I guess the plan is critical mass of AT. So you've got the Puma, you've got the AT gun, and you gotta decide, is that enough? Is that what I want versus the Sherman? Or do I want to get more? What do I want to dump my resources into? It doesn't have a lot of resources to dump into anything, so it's maybe a little bit of a moot point at this point. And Suitor1 in chat suggests second Sherman, and yep, looks like that's J for Jet's teching order. Shermans and T-34s are both near and dear to my heart for the same reason, namely that they're eminently spammable. The only thing better than a Sherman is... The only thing better than some number of Shermans is that number of Shermans plus 1. The only thing better than some number of T-34s is that number of T-34s plus 1. They just scale pretty well in terms of numbers. Like, just having more and more is never gonna do you dirty. And so once you've teched up to either Shermans or T-34s, you kind of just want to just might as well spam them, right? What else are you going to spend your fuel on? Like tank destroyers or something? Obviously, if you need to transition to tank destroyers for some crazy heavy armor or something, you do that. But honestly, a whole pack of Shermans, you can drive around the map fucking people up, and if your opponent does go into a super heavy tank, look, you have a lot of Shermans. You can circle strafe that thing like 6 ways to Sunday. You can do what the actual Americans did in the actual war, which is win through numbers, get around behind them, blow them up, maybe distract them with a Sherman. There is strength, real strength in numbers for sort of medium tanks like this. Same sort of principle applies to the Panzer IV, except slightly less because it's, you know, slightly more expensive. And also when you take up to a Panzer IV, you've got some more options. You've got the Panther. I can't click on the building to show you because they don't have that building yet, but yeah, you've got more options, whereas there's not a lot of places to go for the Soviets or the Americans that are more powerful than a Sherman. That's a straight upgrade. They've got tank destroyers, which are side grades, sort of, but nothing just straight up above a Sherman, typically. Sometimes the Soviets have T-34-85s, or the US has Sherman Jumbos or something. Whoa. So, rest in peace, M20, crew. You served your purpose, and you dropped your bazooka. Your purpose is gone because the scout car is gone. We have 2 Pumas on the field. So this is our answer, by the way, for what the German does in response. And this is, oh, Panzergren down. That's what I'm saying about the economy of these Shermans. Once you start spamming the Shermans, and you got the overlapping fields of fire from the 250 cals on top, and you've got maybe HE rounds. Yeah, you've got HE rounds loaded in this one, HE rounds loaded in this one. No reason to load armor piercing when you can penetrate a Puma just fine with HE. I'm telling you, the added value of that just gets to the point where you can start wiping squads. You don't have to worry about stuff. And I think the German player will see. We'll see if these Pumas are a tactic that pays off. There's one down already. But look, they do good damage to the Shermans. One more shell, and that would have been no more Vet 2 Sherman. J for Jet, I'm sure, getting very scared there. Nice job also by the Germans capping back the VPs. We see the infantry spread out around the map and getting some work done. So although things are looking kind of bad for the Germans, they're still in this game. They could kill a Sherman. It's going to be tougher now with one less Puma, but they could kill a Sherman. Suda21, or Suda1 in chat says Scott. I don't know what it's in reference to. Maybe it's what you buy instead of a Sherman, but I can't endorse that. Why would you, what are we even talking about? What the fuck is a Scott? Where do those come from? Well, we have a Pershing ready at some point. Doesn't have the command points or the fuel, but yeah, so we have a doctrine chosen by J for Jet. Let's analyze that right now. Heavy Cav company, nothing too exciting there. I feel like maybe I still don't have this because Relic's stingy with the items. The mortar carrier, yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, it's from okay, it's this. That's the scout. Why am I so dumb? That's what I thought. Yeah, that's not an upgrade. That's not even a. That's fucking doesn't. Why would we even talk about that? That's not in the same. It's not even a tank. It's open on the top. Fucking seagulls can shit in it. What's happening? Okay, well. I mean, look, there's no King Tiger, there's no Panther at the end of this doctrine. This is it for the Germans. What you see is what you get. Hasn't even teched up to Battle Phase 2, so it's over. Yep, you'd have to tech up here and then here to get a Panther or something, and it's just not happening. So, very well played, J for Jet. Also well played, Noob. That was a great match. I had fun. Thank you for joining me. And as always, Puma repositioning.